Where am I? In the village. What do you want? Information. You won't get it. By hook or by crook. We will. Who are you? The new number 2. Who is number 1? You are number 6. I am not a number. I am a free man.
When it comes to the sci-fi genre, there are certain ideas regarding how we can see a good sci-fi story. When you say sci-fi, the people will automatically think of Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, or any other story that will connect with an utopia or an action story with robots, aliens, or big computers. To be honest, besides the sci-fi, I think that only the fantasy genre will give access to the viewer to a special style of immersion into the story, letting him to discover the world, the characters, and the action in a unique and fun way. Those two genres are very close to my heart, and I try to see and study different ways of how a creator can use a real feeling, a real moment, or a real event into a sci-fi story, and how to integrate it and how to evolve it, and send it back to the viewer in a way that he can connect with, understand it, and realize it what purpose has into the bigger picture. So when I heard about a 1960s sci-fi series called The Prisoner, telling a story of a man who was kidnapped and is forced to stay in a place called The Village, of how his identity was taken, that he was given a number to be recognized by, and how the enemies, the ones who are controlling the village, are trying to make him tell them information regarding his life, I was immediately attracted by the story and I wanted to see it. And to be honest, I was satisfied with everything that the series presented in front of me. When I first heard about The Prisoner, it was during a stream session between the producer Robert Meyer Burnett and Az from Hill vs Babyface YouTube channel. It was a stream where they were talking about the modern movies and about the classic movies, and the difference between them, if I remember correctly. And at some point of the discussion, they started to talk about this old 1960s sci-fi British TV series called The Prisoner. Now, when you get interested in a movie or a game, you can read about it first, or you're trying to hear your friend's opinion about a certain content that you want to explore, and regarding their opinion, you will try it or not, depending on the situation. Well, to me it was immediately a good sign when I saw the reaction of those two men when they started to talk about the series. So I started to search for it, to watch it, and to realize that they were absolutely right about what they were talking about. I don't even know where I should start to talk about The Prisoner, because it has so many themes and so many moments that are like small pieces of puzzle, pieces that made the story of The Prisoner a reference to the storytelling, in my opinion. And if you pay attention to the way it was created and the time when it was made, damn, the 1960s, the decade of the new groundbreaking elements into pop culture and in cinema. Alfred Hitchcock with Psycho, The Birds and Marnie, George Lucas with its short film projects, Stanley Kubrick with 2001 and Space Odyssey, and so many others. Even two of the greatest franchises of the sci-fi genre started back then, and I'm talking about Doctor Who and Star Trek. So The Prisoner is just a small piece of art in this infinite area of success? Absolutely not, because the cinematic style, the story, the concept, the idea behind everything created something special that is not in front of your eyes at the first research, but it is something special when you start to search for it. The story of an unknown man, a spy that resigns for unknown reasons. He is abducted by unknown people, he is sent into a remote location called the Village, where other spies are sent there for different reasons. His identity is taken away, it is given to him a number to be identified by it, and it is put in different situations by higher-ups of the village in order to make him tell why he quit. The whole purpose of this man, to escape the village and to resist the tricks he is put on. Even from the beginning, it can be felt that The Prisoner presents interesting and powerful themes into its story. It may look like it has way too many themes, but the way they are put is making a lot of sense in number 6's journey. You know, number 6 being the number he is given to the protagonist. The themes of identity and freedom are two of the most important themes into the story, because we are seeing the main character fighting throughout the series for this freedom, for his identity, and this is his main motivation. It gives you the feeling that somehow those two themes have an important historical reference regarding certain moments from the 20th century. But there is another one that drives the whole series, and that is the theme of deceiving. The whole series is based on this concept of what you can see can deceive you. From the beginning of the first episode, when number 6 sees a mysterious person into the tower, or the moment when number 6 thinks he escaped the village and reached London but he was in the village all along, or the moment from the final episode when number 6 reaches finally home in London but the door of the house is opening in a similar way to the doors from the village. All those moments presented into the story not only enhances the theme throughout the number 6's journey, giving him obstacles in his quest, but also presents to the viewer new ways of storytelling, making him live the story along with number 6 and making him want to come back and to watch the next episode. Even if the idea of every episode is predictable after you are watching the first 2 episodes of the series, there is something that makes you continue to watch it. One of those things might be the idea of seeing number 6 succeed to get out of the village, but there are also narrative elements that will make you come back. It makes you want to see if number 6 escapes the village even if you know he will escape sometime. And the fact that in almost every episode the main villain, number 2, the one who must get information from number 6, is played by a different actor is probably another reason. It is like you're watching another adventure with the same recipe. And that is a cool idea as part of the narrativity. It's amazing not only for the fact that every single one of those people who are number 2 represents a different challenge for number 6 to stay vigilant every time, but also because it makes number 2 a tragic character. Every time number 2 fails to make number 6 talk, he is changed by another one. Or an old number 2 is brought back due to its almost success. It's a tragic character exactly for this expendable feature, because like any other from the village, he is exactly like them. It's a prisoner forced to do all this stuff for a reason. There is a thing though that is very cool made during the series, and that is the impact and the role of number 1. During the series we understand that number 1 is the man behind everything number 6 experiences, but who is he? His identity is a well-kept secret until into the last episode where number 1 looks exactly like number 6. Now, this looks like another trick from number 1, but the scene can be interpreted as a message to the viewer. The main villain of every hero is himself. Honestly, this thing is so ambiguous that it can be interpreted by the viewer in any way he wants. Also, with the last scene of the series is the exactly same thing. Did he really escape the village, or is it just part of illusion? It's a thing that drives the story in a mysterious and an adventurous method, and it is not necessary to know the character to get attached to it and to follow him throughout the story. It's just the context, the action, and the vibe that the series sends it to the viewer. However, in order to watch a series, any series, you kinda have to know what exactly are you watching, who is the main character, what is his purpose, who is he fighting with, and this thing ignites your interest into the story, and is presented in different ways depending on the creative concept of the certain story. In the case of The Prisoner, the same rule applies, only it is made in a unique way. It is presented into the opening credits, and the way it is presented, it totally captivates you. The opening is made to tell you the man's story in a dynamic way, to make you pay attention to the situation, to make you want to come back and see the series. The theme song that is used is so well chosen that it gives you chills and the vibe of adventure, and the best part, the intro is not narrated. Everything you need to know is shown. If you watch the first episode and you start to feel the series, you may think that this is part of the story. You may think that this is part of the first episode, that is not an intro, that it starts out of the blue because the episode starts just after the moment number 6 is watching out on the window. But when you are starting to see it again and again and again at the beginning of almost every episode, it works not only as an intro, it works also as a reminder for the viewer of who number 6 is and why he is so desperate to get out of the village. It's a nice touch to use this method into the intro. Usually the intro is just a presentation of the context or of the characters, but here it is used as a narrative tool and is integrated so well into the concept of the series. It's a unique way that it was later used by other series over the years, and somehow, still The Prisoner did it better, probably because it kinda did it first or because it just felt right for the story. "17. This is the number of episodes The Prisoner presents. Apparently there were initially 8 episodes created, but the television network wanted more episodes, so they raised the number to 17. So I think that it can be assumed that some of the episodes are considered fillers. But the thing is that while you are watching the series, you don't feel an episode to be a filler. All the episodes are stuck very well together and present a logical continuity, like the next episode is a logical response to what happened into the previous one. Sure, there are like 2 episodes that are different not only in style but also in the presentation and concept, like the Western episode and the British spy style story, but in the end, everything fits perfectly. And the way it combines all those concepts of sci-fi with the spy genre, with the mystery and the adventure, it makes the story more connected, more logical at every step, and that is making it cool to watch it over and over again. It's like number 2 has all those methods that he is using to make number 6 talk. You can consider the fact that having a different concept every single episode is a representation of every number 2 and their plan that they are trying to pull in order to make number 6 speak. Different concepts and different villains per episode suit well with the concept of the series, and that is a small but an important detail in the overall idea of what the prisoner represents. But after all those ideas and themes and connections, there is an important thing that connects everything and captivates the eye of the viewers, and that is the way it is filmed, edited, and the soundtrack of it. Because there is a 1960s TV series, The Prisoner is filmed into the cinematic style of those times. And that is not a bad thing at all. It is filmed in a way to present all that coldness, all that loneliness of a man who is trapped in a sophisticated cage. The use of the close shots is made to get close to the character, to tell you how he's gonna react and what he is gonna do. The use of the wide shots are made to make you feel that number 6 is alone in this whole situation. The colors of the image are so pale and yet so alive at the same time. It gives you the cold feeling of the sci-fi genres at the time, which is pretty cool, but add a nice and warm touch to the story, making it more attractive to the normal viewer than other series from those times that were shot black and white or other colored imaged series. The way it is edited though, simply put, I can say that is amazing. It gives a certain rhythm to the story sometimes. Fast cuts are used to give the intensity and the suspense at some important moments, and the soundtrack, it helps a lot in this process. There are moments that don't need the use of a soundtrack, and those moments while you are watching them have an impact on the viewer just as they are. Then when a soundtrack or a theme of the series is used, the rhythm of the series is accelerating, and it gives you as a viewer the feeling of adrenaline. The way they balance the rhythm throughout the series is classic and dynamic at the same time. And with all of this, for a 1960s TV series, I am quite impressed by what The Prisoner can offer, not only as a TV show for a normal audience, but also as a film study. I think that there are things and ideas presented into the series that are somehow lost today, or just believed to be old school. Anyway, in my opinion, this is not just a simple TV series. It is made in a way so simple and yet so complicated. It is a series that gives you so much with so little. Behind all those themes, methods of storytelling, ways of editing, and different concepts, The Prisoner may be one of those hidden gems of the old times regarding the cinema. And I'm calling it a hidden gem not because it is hard to find or something, but because it is not a series that you are discovering at the first research when you want to see something old school. And yes, it is hard to talk about a TV series because there are so many things that you can talk about. Every single episode has its own theme, its own method, its own adventure, which it makes it cool because it keeps to the viewer's interest fresh, and keeping it fresh, the series will not get boring. Sure, there are moments when you may try to think that it's getting boring because of the rhythm or because of the action from the certain scenes or because it's using the same pattern like almost every episode, but the way of the pattern is realized is what it keeps it interesting. Realizing it differently gives you a new perspective to the story. It matches perfectly with the concept of a different number 2, like I said it before, and so number 6 evolves in his actions, in its method, and it reaches the goal one way or another. Anyway, after watching it and trying to understand it, I think it's fair to say that The Prisoner was a revolutionary series way ahead of its time. It has brought a lot of new ideas on the table and changed the concept of storytelling and genre in a more challenging way. It is a special TV series that makes you want to watch it over and over again. It's entertaining, it is made in a smart way, it keeps the interest of the viewer during its run, and if you know its deeper meanings, it will have a more important impact on you. It doesn't matter if it's an old TV series. What matters is how well it is made, what impact will have on the viewer, and what message wants to send it. So for a 1960s TV series, it's simply perfect. It's a nice gem to look into if you want to watch something different and yet common at the same time.